Hi,
Hey,
everyone. Welcome.
well,
Happy New Year.
it's good to be back together.
Yeah, it's been a while,
I
but
know.
I appreciated the little break. I don't know about you, but I was
Mhm.
enjoying my time with my family. So
Right, definitely.
awesome. Now I'm eager to get back in though.
Yep, I'm ready.
So I have retitled this Clifton Strengths Deconstructed.
Okay,
See
love
yourself
it.
anew. We'll see how long that lasts. But this is just decoding your superpowers.
Yes.
So we're taking a look at a new strength report, delving into the person behind the strengths lineup, and just kind of give some insights that we're picking up from this report, from this result of the Gallup Strengths Assessment, which is a half-hour assessment. I mean, it could be referred to as a test, but an assessment is truly what it is. It's assessing what's important to this person, how this person shows up in the world, the way this person thinks at this particular time in their life. So I'm going to let you pick up with that train of thought, and I'm going to go ahead and grab the report and
Yeah.
get us set up, Linda, if you would please.
Yeah. So the way that you find the Clifton Strengths Assessment is at Gallup.com, and there'll be drop-down menus for you to click on that. And you do have to pay for this, but it is definitely a worthwhile investment to
For sure.
to spend a little bit of money to find out such a rich amount of information about how you do things, how you live your life, how
Yes.
you fulfill your passions and your dreams and your goals. And I'm really excited about this uh, test result that we're looking at today because they are a 5 and 5 in their top 10. So you don't see that too often.
That's
A little
true.
bit unusual that someone is this uh dedicated to,
Evenly split.
yeah. Yeah. So with the Clifton Strengths Assessment, like Teresa said, a test gives you the feeling that there's a pass or fail. This is not that. You cannot fail this test. This
Right.
assessment just gives you an indicator of what is good about you. And the reason that we used to call it decoding your superpowers is because it's your superpowers, how you interact with the world, um, how you relate to people, how you get things done, how you think, create, and learn, how you influence other people. And it's all good
It's
because
all
it's the
good.
way you have been created. And
Yes,
we say that each person is infinitely unique, and that is true. And
that
this
is so
tells
true.
you what is good about you, what is wonderful about you. And kind of the neat side benefit is that it gives you a language to help you understand the people around you and what's good and wonderful and unique about them as well. So you kind of start to see like, and my husband and I will be watching a TV show and we'll be like, oh, yeah, do you think that person has woo? Do you think that person has harmony? And
Right,
we're
right,
kind of analyzing the characters on TV shows too.
right. It
So
gives
it
you a
is
new
really,
perspective on
yeah.
people and
Hmm.
why they're doing what they're doing or why they're thinking or acting a certain way.
Right.
So it's really fun, really exciting, but we always, after the end of this time, me and Linda always say, this person is awesome.
Right.
Because
Because it's
every
true.
person is,
Yeah.
once you see their zone of genius and their superpowers laid out like this. And
Hmm.
it's so empowering to see yourself from this perspective. So
Right.
that's why we love to share it with others because it's been empowering for us and it's empowering for everybody else we know who has gone through this process. And we just want to share that with the world. We want everybody to feel so good about themselves and see
Right.
themselves
Absolutely.
as they are in the best light possible. So this particular person, let me just talk about this, which I always try to do every week.
Mm,
Everybody has 34 strengths. Gallup has broken it down, and they fall in a different lineup for every person. Every person, there's nobody on the planet with this person's lineup. There might be some commonalities, but they're going to be different. They're going to show up different for each person depending on where a particular strength is in your lineup. So we focus on the top 10, which is, I call the zone of genius. This is where we want to encourage people to operate from the most and as frequently as possible. This is where a person is the most energized, the most creative, the most productive. This is where they're at their best self when they're operating from these top 10 strengths.
mhm.
The bottom five are, they're still strengths. We don't refer to them as weaknesses. Some people might think of them as such, but everything's good.
Yes.
But the bottom five are where you don't want to spend a lot of time. You're not energized. You're probably de-energized. It might be sucking the energy out of you. And it's just stressful and it's a struggle when you're trying to operate in your life from these bottom strengths for
And
whatever reason.
and it's awkward for other people too.
Mm-hmm.
When
Mm-hmm.
you're doing those, you come across as like the negative aspect of that.
Mm-hmm.
So, like for me, my number 34 strength is command. And I come across as bossy, um, like trying to be authoritative, and it really takes people aback when I am like trying to use command. But there are other people who have command high in their zone of genius, and it's the thing that people love and hate about them. You know, they kind of, it kind of bugs them, but they're the person that everyone goes to when there's a crisis to
Right.
kind
And
of,
when you need somebody to
yeah,
take
yeah,
charge. Yeah.
yeah. So
It's just
yeah,
not us.
it's not us. No.
But anything that is down in this
Yeah,
bottom part and even in the middle part, you can do everything from these top
yeah,
10. So
yes,
anything that you might feel like, oh, I wish I had maximize or higher.
yeah,
Well, you don't need to worry about that because you can use your other top 10 strengths
right.
to substitute for that maximizer strength.
Mhm.
So let's just look at the bottom five very, very quickly. I just want to go through a couple very quickly. Like this person does not have to think about all the factors that might affect a situation. Okay,
Mhm.
they just don't have to. They
Mhm.
can let that go. Let's see. This person does not have to anticipate obstacles and or potential problems. So
Right.
they don't have to figure everything out before they get started.
Right. And
Okay,
they
that's
might get really discouraged if they
yes, exactly. Let's see, discipline. This person does not need structure nor order. They don't really enjoy routine and structure. It might feel confining and limiting to them. And they don't have to worry about it because they can move through life with their other strengths that allow them to be more flexible and flowing.
Mhm.
So that's basically how we see those bottom five. You don't have to worry about them. You can let them go and
Right.
just get on with your life using and operating from these top 10. Everything in the middle, there I see them as neutral. There's no energy behind them. They're just kind of like, yeah. And so
Yeah.
we don't even look at those. It's
Yeah.
just not
Yeah.
important because we know everything can be done with these top 10.
Mhm.
So that's what we're going to focus on here today. So our first thing that we do is we look at the nut or the colors. You'll see they kind of match up with these categories in this gray column. And literally that's all we do, Linda, right? We just add
Yeah.
up
Yeah.
these strengths and put them in the appropriate category.
And the reason that we can do that is because Clifton Strengths has a massive algorithm that
Mm-hmm.
immediately processes your results as soon as you
Yep.
hit that submit button. And they have already done the computing and have ordered the strengths in order of how you answered the questions. So it's not like we're at random saying that this person has, input, intellection, relator, harmony, and empathy high. We already know that because CliftonStrengths, through their massive amount of research and
Mm-hmm.
their computer algorithm, have told us that these are things that are important to this person and how they do everything. So we
Yeah.
can do our simplistic little counting
Mm-hmm.
and shed a little bit more insight as to this person, rather than, we always kind of put a plug in for this, rather than just having your top five that a lot of companies and colleges do for their employees and their students. We love the full 34 report because, like Teresa said, it tells you what you don't have to do, and it gives you a bigger picture of your zone of genius.
Correct. Thank
So,
you.
so Clifton Strength says, this person has those blue strengths, the relationship building, but we're also seeing a powerful amount of green, or strategic thinking.
Right. So this person is evenly split between relationship building and strategic thinking. Now, relationship builders love to connect.
Mhm.
Connection is their energizer. They need to connect in some form or fashion on a daily basis, I would say.
Mhm.
Um, and an in person of high strategic number of strengths, which this person is, this person needs a lot of thinking, processing time. They spend time in their head, maybe
Right.
planning and strategizing and thinking deeply on things, as this person's intellection would do. And maybe they love connecting with the right people. They have to determine who the right people are for them. And this person will want to maybe speak deeply and get into deep conversations with the right people.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say that too, that probably my hunch is the people that they like to connect with are people who are thinkers,
Mm-hmm,
because the
mm-hmm.
strategic thinking is so powerful for them.
Right. And I want to just jump back to the relationship builder. Every relationship builder has to determine for themselves who they want to connect with. They
Hmm.
might want to connect with everybody, depending on their strengths, but
Yeah.
not everybody might be right for them.
Hmm.
So, there are those relationships and connections that are just not good for
Yeah.
anybody. And you
Yeah.
probably know that once you
Right.
get into them. So it's very important, in my opinion, to really figure out who you want to connect with. Who are
Hmm.
the people that energize you
Yeah.
and, bring you joy. So that's important for a relationship builder to understand about themselves. And this person also, since they're evenly split, they have 5 relationship building strengths, 5 strategic thinking strengths. I believe this person needs to really balance between those domains.
Yeah.
They want their own private, alone thinking time, but they also want their connection time. And if they get one more than the other, they're going to feel out of whack, out of balance. They might feel their energy drop and wonder, like, what's going on? Well, maybe they didn't get their connection time for the last 2 days. So their energy has decreased. And so I think it's going to be really important for this person to find that balance between these two domains.
And maybe to give themselves permission to connect deeply with a small inner circle.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of touches on some
Thank you.
specific strengths.
Yes.
This person has relator at number
Mm-hmm.
8. And so relator doesn't mean relate to a bunch of people. It means deep relationships with a small inner circle. That is
Mm-hmm.
how they connect. Where you see kind of in the middle there, 18 is includer. So someone who is an includer, has includer high, they want to make sure everybody has a seat at the table.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yep. You don't want to leave anybody at the
Hmm.
everybody has a seat at the big people's table. But that's not important. I don't know if I want to say that that's not how they function the best by including
Hmm.
everybody. They function the best by a small inner circle. And you see their woo is at 22. Woo is a
Mm.
big connection with lots of people, kind of charming a group of people, breaking the ice. They're not about that either. So maybe, possibly, they have been told through the years that they need to include more people or they need to be out more outgoing. But that's not how they were created. That's not how they
Right.
were
Right.
designed. And not that they should snub people, but they do best when they connect with a small inner circle of
Hmm.
people.
Right. Thank you for picking up on that. Yeah, that relator is going to
That's a
have an
powerful one.
influence that way. Yes.
Hmm.
And this person's going to really, I mean, look at this lineup of relationship building strengths. This person is going to be an encourager and a cheerleader for that small group of friends. This
Hmm.
person's going to be really uplifting and
Hmm.
sees everything from a positive perspective for this
Right.
small group of people. This
Hmm.
person's going to hold a beautiful, positive vision for the future and able to inspire their small group of people to a positive future. And
Hmm.
so you can just see that they have all these beautiful strengths, but it's going to be connected to this small inner circle people. Now, that doesn't mean they don't have lots of friends, but they're most comfortable and do their best in that small, trusted inner circle.
Hmm. That's like their core of, where they are energized.
Right, right.
Small.
And I do want to speak to the energetic. This person, I counted up, Linda, 6 energetic
Okay.
strengths. So this person is going to really want to maintain their energy. They're going to want to pay attention to their energy. And I don't want to get really into what the energetics are all about, but they're they're characterized by abstract and an emotional nature. So it's kind of like a nebulous type of a non-quantifiable type of energy.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're going to probably want to be very protective of
Mm.
their energy
Yep.
boundaries.
Yeah.
That's why it'd be important to protect that inner circle. And yeah, so I just wanted to throw that in there. It's just going to be a subtle way of living life, and that might show up to some people outside that inner circle in a different way than it does to the people inside the inner circle.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Good point.
So and this person being a high energy person, an energetic person in the way we are talking about it, this person might want to create a list of activities, of people, of situations, of environments that energize them.
Yeah.
Like just really have a go-to menu when they're maybe feeling their energy drained. Oh,
Mhm.
well, then I have this kind of menu like, oh, I'm going to go for a walk out in nature and recharge. I'm going to play with my pet to
Mhm.
recharge. So it's kind of like a tool that
Right.
they could use to maintain that energy for themselves.
Mhm.
Let's see, what else can we talk about here? Harmony, the flow of the way things work are going to be very important to this person. The flow of a relationship, the flow of something they're planning, the flow of their work schedule. It's flow is going to be very important to them. That's how I interpret harmony. How about you, Linda?
Yeah. Yeah. That I think that's really good. My number 9 is harmony as well. And this doesn't mean that you're a person who's weak or a pushover.
Mhm, mhm,
And what I have found about harmony for myself is that harmony is so important to me that I'm willing to risk and to rip the band-aid off in order to get back to that kind of flow and homeostasis and
mm,
consensus.
mhm,
And it's like it's worth the pain of the moment for the long term of people being on the same page and having a better understanding of each other, and if they need to blow off steam in order to get back to that kind of even keel. So,
mm.
my mom always used to say that she had a really long fuse, but don't get to the end of it. And I have inherited that from her, I think. Like I could take a lot, the harmony, but when it reaches that point where things need to blow up, I'm gonna light the fuse.
That's it. I love that
So
analogy.
don't
Thank you.
this harmony doesn't mean that the person's a pushover.
Right,
It
right,
means
right.
that they see that people connect better when they're on the same page and respect each other and
Mhm,
kind of
mhm.
have a give and take and a flow. It's just a good way to put it.
Yeah, and so they're probably very collaborative. They
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
collaborating with people.
Yeah.
They want to seek areas of agreement
Mhm.
between themselves and another person or between people around them.
Right.
They just want a nice balance,
Mhm.
even, no conflict,
Right.
peaceable environment. Again, a peaceable energy. That's where they thrive. And so they want to create that for other people.
And I probably do my harmony the way I do because my empathy is really low. And it's not low because I don't have the ability to pick up on what other people are thinking and feeling, but if I go down, it's like Alice down the rabbit hole. It's not good for me. Like I get drained by empathy. Where this person,
Hmm.
they're more energized by sensing what other people are feeling, walking a mile in their moccasins, and
Hmm.
so that can add to the harmony. Those really probably work really well together for
Right.
this person.
And thank you for pointing that out because we talk about the domains, which is strategic thinking and relationship building. And one of them is going to kind of lead the other one. And we'd have to have that person in front of us
Yeah.
to make that determination. And it
Mhm.
may be situational, but I
Right.
want to make sure everybody understands that we talk about them individually, but they all work together. They all weave together in a beautiful tapestry of personality or characteristics or behaviors or ways of thinking. And so, even though we're talking about them as individual strengths,
Right.
typically they all partner. They'll
Mhm.
partner, like you said, harmony and empathy can walk in partnership hand in hand in a
Yeah.
really beautiful way.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And the positivity might flow in there. So they all work together as needed, or we do tend to maybe gravitate towards one or two or three default strengths. At least for me, I've found that. Um, but they do weave together beautifully.
Mhm.
So, and
Absolutely.
and that's why everybody's report is different.
Yeah.
So another person might have something similar to this in their top 10, but empathy could be at number one, which
Yeah.
is going to create a different dynamic between all the other strengths. So
Mhm.
wherever a strength is in the lineup of the report or in the zone of genius, that just kind of mixes it up a little bit differently.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and even though I know me and
Little
Linda have
little
some,
more salt or a little more pepper. You just
yes. I know me and Linda have different, I mean, we have similar strengths. We have a couple very common strengths, but
Mhm.
because of where they're at and their importance to us and how they energize us, they all kind of present themselves in a different way.
Mhm, mhm.
So that's why we're all infinitely unique.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And we all have these gifts to share with the world.
Right.
And we
Absolutely.
want everybody to see that and understand that and have an awareness of the beauty of themselves and be able to share it and articulate. Because if you're a person who does prefer just a handful of people, as a relator would, you want to be able to express that to others, or understand that, like, oh, that's why I only need like 2 or 3 or 4 friends.
Mhm.
Like, I don't need a handful, a ton of friends like you do,
Right.
because I'm different and this is why. So it's really great to have a vocabulary, like you said, or a way to share yourself in these terms of your strengths.
Yep.
And it's so empowering, and that's why we want to share it with the world. So we are at the end of our time. We had a little couple technical difficulties. That's
Right.
why we had to jump on late today. You know how
We love
technology
technology.
is. But we will be here again next
Mhm.
Tuesday. And if you have your own report that maybe you haven't looked at for a long time,
Yeah.
you can
Would be fun.
access it through the Gallup website, and they always have it there for you. You go get it and send it over to us, either Linda or myself, and we will highlight you and showcase your strengths report either anonymously, or you're welcome to jump on with us. And it's always fun to have the person, excuse me, in front of us,
Yeah.
that we can kind of get confirmation that what we're sharing is pretty much on point,
Mhm.
which tends to be pretty much on point
Yeah.
every time. It just may play out a little differently than what we were thinking. But
Mhm.
so feel free to do that. We would love to showcase your strengths here live
Yeah, absolutely.
each week. So, and if you feel you want to go into depth and really learn to leverage this information for yourself in your life, in all areas of your life, whether it be your relationships, your health, your income. Am I missing an
Self
area?
Yeah, like your own
Your
self-awareness.
own self, yeah, your own personal self-belief and confidence, we would certainly love to help you. So feel free to connect with either of us. Our contact information will be in the description with this video. And then those of you on Facebook, feel free to reach out, leave a comment,
Yeah.
connect with Linda or myself. If you found this information helpful, please share it with somebody who might benefit from it.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Okay, thank you so much, Linda. Always
Everyone.
appreciate your insights. As a relationship builder, I love when we collaborate, so
Yeah,
thank
me
you
too.
so much. And I'm going to stop the share and say thank you to everybody who's listening in and watching. We appreciate you, and um, let's get everybody on their strengths path, and the
Yeah.
world will be a better place.
Yeah, definitely. Wouldn't it?
Okay, bye-bye, my
Bye,
friends.
everyone.